Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm Dan and let's get right into it. This is probably going to be one of the most disgusting videos that we ever do for you guys, but it's full of great information. We want you to stick around because at the end you're going to learn about one of the coolest things you can do to protect your home. Now the title of this video is Preventing a Sewer Backup During an EVAC Scenario. And actually this stuff can work in any scenario. It doesn't only have to be EVAC, but we're concentrating on hurricane prep, storm prep, EVAC, bug out. These things all matter. So sewer systems are the backbone of sanitation in your home. Just to talk about it simply, most of you know this, some you may not know. In your house, you've got pressurized water, potable water that's under pressure. Potable meaning water that's drinkable, that you can cook with and eat with and make ice cubes with, that sort of thing. It comes into your house under pressure. Pipes are vertical, horizontal. They go down, they go up. The water comes in and feeds your pressure line. That would be your faucets, your sinks. It would be your toilets, your showers, that sort of thing. When you're done with that water, you have a sewer system on the other end. And that's not a pressure fed system in most homes. It's a gravity fed system. And you'll have pipes that run from generally 2 up to 3 to 4 inches. And they'll come from your shower and your toilet upstairs down to a toilet downstairs and a shower tub there. They'll run along underneath the house, maybe under a concrete slab if you're on a slab, or in a pipe in a basement. They'll pick up your kitchen sink, maybe a guest bath and shower. They'll come outside to a sewer clean out and eventually go to a sewer lateral. So that's how that system is constructed. It's got vents in it because the system has to allow air to move in and out of it as needed. And the pitch of those pipes is very important. We mentioned the pressure lines. They go up, they go down, around, down, do what they have to do. The water will still get to your house. But in a sewer scenario, you're going to have pipes that flow from the second floor down to the first floor, then from the first floor down into the basement or under a slab, and they will be at a pitch, a slight angle, so the liquids and solids can move together to keep the pipes clear. It moves out to the house and again out to the laterals, and it can either go to a septic system or into a municipal treatment plant. Now, we talk about pitch being very important. The average pitch for a sewer pipe is critical, and it's a 1/4 inch per foot. That means for every, let's say the house is here, and again, the clean out here on my left. We want the water and the solids to flow this way. For every foot that we flow, that pipe has to drop about a 1/4 of an inch. And that's a mandated number because it's been proven that that's the number where solids and liquids can move together in a pipe. If the pipe is pitched too much, greater than that 2 or 3%, greater than that 1/4 inch per foot, the liquids race ahead, the solids stay behind, and they can cake up and clump up and become a problem. And then let's say if one of your kids flushes a toy down the toilet, somebody accidentally flushes a diaper, or you get some grease or flushable or unflushable wipes flushed in there, you can see how that can cause a problem. Same thing if you have pitch that's too little, almost horizontal. If you're almost horizontal, then your liquids and your solids can pool up and they just kind of creep along, and then you get bath tissue and everything else in there. Things, again, can clump up and clog up. So that's one of the things you have to understand, that pitch is very important. And this is just good to know. So what happens when the water and the effluent leave your house? You have that pressurized water come in, you cook, you bathe, you use the bathroom, you do different things. Just like your body, when you take in stuff, your body relieves stuff, it eliminates it. A house is just like that. You bring water and stuff into your house, you cook, you bathe, you sanitize. That waste product, the gray water, the black water, that stuff has to leave the house. If you're in a country and in an unincorporated section of a city, perhaps, you may have a septic system. So your stuff flows out past the clean out into a lateral, into a septic tank, some kind of septic tank. And that tank is where solids will go to the bottom of the tank. Anything that's lighter than water, like greases or anything else, will kind of collect and form a sludge on top of the tank. And below that sludge later, you're going to have your leachate. And that's your clearer water and solution that eventually percolates out into a drainage field. And bacteria that's present in the field start to break down those compounds and purify that water. And eventually that water percolates into the ground, eventually back into the aquifer. And that's the wonderful thing about Mother Nature. It's got bacteria and microbes that clean this water and get it to a clean state. If you have a sewer system, all your stuff flows through in the same manner. You get to your clean out, out to a lateral, you're going to a sewer line that usually will pump to a lift station. If you're in a flat state like Florida, where we live, let's say Florida or any other state like that, you'll get lift stations that pump that sewer into what's called a force main, and that would be a pressurized sewer line. And those pumps get successively larger as more and more effluent gets pumped down to the sewer system, the sewer plant. And then that's where bacteria and microbes are introduced. Things are mixed, filtered, treated, and that water comes out as clean water. It's discharged into rivers, oceans. They do what they do. Now, why are we talking about this in an EVAC scenario? And I spend so much time talking about the house system. Well, let's say there's a wildfire. And let's say there's a flood, or you may have a dam break coming up, and it may take out some infrastructure, maybe not your home, but near your home, and you might end up having a power loss. The easiest way to describe this is if you're in a municipal setting, your house, and you need to bug out. So you want yourself to be safe. You gather up your stuff. You look at our other videos, other people's videos. You make your checklist and say, I'm going to go and be as safe as I can be for a few days until the crisis light lets up. You also want to leave your house as safe and secure as you can, and you want it to be as clean as you can. And that's the point of this video. But here's the interesting thing. Sometimes you can leave and do all you can to protect your house, but your neighbors don't leave. Your neighbors down the street decide to stay around. Now the power's out, but they have got municipal water. There's still pressure in the water lines. They can still brush their teeth. They can still cook on a propane stove if they have no power, let's say, and maybe they don't have gas stove in the house. And they're still going to use water. They're still going to bathe, still use the toilet. But the lift station's not working. So it doesn't take a rocket science to figure this one out. That sewer is going to back up in the sewer mains. It's going to back up in the laterals. It can back up to their homes, including your home, and you're away. It can come beyond that clean out and then come in and possibly flood your basement, possibly pour into your bathroom or go into the back of your house. I've seen it happen before. I've seen it where a master bath, a master shower had this much sewer in it. I mean, it's disgusting. And these things can happen. So what do you do about it? In an EVAC scenario, you want to take care of your house. Now, the best way to do it is you got to think about education, maintenance, and prevention. And that's how we move it on. So it's education, maintenance, and then prevention. Learn about your systems. Learn about how your portable systems work. Definitely take the time, take a half hour, an hour, and learn about how your sewer system works. With regard to maintenance, you might do things on your own to keep your system clean. You might call a plumber in and say, hey, will you scope my lines? And that's like giving your plumbing system a colonoscopy without the prep. And they can check your lines and see if pipes are settling or not, to see if you have any tree roots that might be growing in a cracked line or coming through a pipe joint, because trees and plants love nutrition and water, and they know that sometimes they can get into a sewer line and they can form a ball of roots, and they suck the nutrients and the water out from the pipe, but they can end up blocking, especially if you use wipes in the house and people don't think. So you should never flush wipes down your toilet. Don't flush grease. Make sure the kids don't flush toys down the toilet. And those flushable wipes or non-flushable wipes, either one, please do not put them in a toilet, okay? They cause problems down the line. They don't break down. They're terrible. So anyway, you want to make sure that gets maintained. So here we are. We talked about education. We talked about maintenance, and now we'll talk about prevention. You can install a sewer backup device for very little cost in your home. Now, some of the more costly measures would include something like a backwater prevention device, where you have this sewer line that comes through, and again, look at the B-roll footage for the examples. You've got your sewer clean out, and then your pipe travels down to a lateral. You can actually dig up that pipe, have somebody dig it up, and you can install one of these valves so that if water happens to flow, or sewage happens to flow back in that pipe, you might have a flap that comes up and prevents that stuff from going back in toward your house. The thing with using one of these backwater prevention devices is they may need to be maintained. You may have to jet that water out, or you may have to dig it up, check it out. A spring could go bad, a flap could break. I mean, things could happen. They're mechanical. That's why we don't recommend you using those unless you absolutely have to. We come up with something that's very simple. It screws right on top of that sewer cleanout that's right outside the house. It'll fit a 3 or 4 inch pipe, and they make larger ones as well. And what it does is it acts like a float, so that if any backup happens to come up in the line, this thing will pick up and sewer will discharge out onto your lawn. Now, that's not a nice thought to think about poop and pee from down the road gathering up on your lawn, but it's a hell of a lot better than it gathering inside your house, in your basement, in one of your bathrooms or whatever. And that device is this. This thing costs like $30 to $34 now. This is called the Jones-Stevens Sewer Popper, and it's a patented device. We don't get anything on this. We're not pushing this for the company. We use it. It's a flange that's designed to screw onto a 3 or 4 inch sewer cleanout outside the house. I mentioned that cleanout over here to my left. We screw it on hand tight. After we take off the cleanout cap, we take a wrench, take that clean off cap, clean things up, pop it here, put this where the cleanout cap was, screw it on, hand tight's good enough. You take this, it's a float, it's got a little bit of fluid in it. I don't know if you can hear it in the microphone. And you just drop it into place and that's it. This thing keeps out bug, critters, water, snow, all that kind of thing. You just keep it above ground a couple inches, keep it clear. And if sewer ever backs up in the line, this thing will lift up and the effluent will come out of this pipe and it will not go into your house. The only maintenance you have to do is just to keep it clear, make sure this is clean, and just make sure there's room for this thing to pop up. You don't want to have a tree branch roll over it or a hedge, okay? And that's all you have to do. It's that simple. Now look, if I haven't mentioned this before, there is no insurance check in the world. There is no policy endorsement for $5, $10, $15, $20,000 to handle sewer backup mitigation expenses and hassle. There's nothing that'll take away the pain of actually dealing with a sewer backup. The EPA estimates that 50,000 people go through a sewer backup in this country every year. It's an awful thing. But you're dealing with pee and poop coming into every nook and cranny in maybe in your basement, in your bathroom, in the master bath. That stuff gets in the grout, it gets behind the baseboards, it gets in the drywall. And short of ripping everything up and changing it, how do you ever feel clean in your house if you've suffered that sort of thing, knowing that you really can't get that dirty water out of everything in your home? So think about something like this. For like 30 bucks, 40 bucks, you could buy this thing, install it in your house, and have like the cheapest investment and the best peace of mind, and still have that sewer endorsement on your house policy and protect your home like you never can. That's as simply how it is. We loved presenting this information to you. We have 3 of these in our community. We have 154 homes in our community, and there's 3 of them. This one that we use on our sewer system that we'll install, as you see in the beat footage. Our neighbors got one, and another neighbor down the street who saw the light and said, hey, we have to have that to protect our home. So that's it. It's a super cheap fix to stop a major, major problem. Thank you very much for watching. Again, like and subscribe, but only if you like this sort of thing, and share it with people in your circle who may get value out of it. We look forward to seeing you on the next video, and thanks for sticking around.